tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you have an interesting background because you've been in real estate for a while, right? And you've also launched off in the last year into your own group, which is really amazing, right? So
Right.
maybe just tell us a little bit about your story as you came into real estate, and then once you're in real estate, and then how you got to today.
Okay. So I started back in 2015, and what at the time I was working for a nonprofit and just looking for somewhere to grow, being able to help support my family in the time of need if ever needed.
Yeah.
And so I started looking around, and I have family who's in real estate, and they
Was your dad a builder? Is that right? Or am I
my
thinking
dad
about
was a
a
pastor.
pastor? Okay. All right.
But
He was
my
building
Well,
churches.
he's building
building community is what he's doing. So yeah.
So, but my uncle was a builder,
Okay.
and my aunt
That's
was the real estate agent, and
Got
they
it.
were very influential in my desire to be in real estate.
Okay.
So I'm very thankful for them. And anyway, so I had the opportunity to join a team at Keller Williams and started unlicensed, very quickly got licensed, and stayed as an assistant for 2 years, just as a licensed assistant, and worked, you know, we were bound at the hip for 2 years. I was doing everything from transactions, doing all her showings and visiting listing appointments and staging and everything like that. So I was learning. Then I stepped into buyer agent role and did that for 5 years. And then in 2022, I had the opportunity to step out on my own and create my own group.
Yeah.
And since I brought Marissa with me, who is my licensed assistant now, she is licensed, so excited for that.
That's a big deal.
And then I also have Emily, who does our marketing, and she's amazing too.
Gosh. So, and you've done this in short order. I mean, when you look at just deciding to go on your own, and where you've gotten to just really in the last 12 months is pretty impressive. What was what was that cathartic moment that said, okay, I'm ready to leave the comfort of a team, right? And launch out on my own. Like I can do this on my own, right? What was that moment?
That was a difficult moment because you're scared to death about leaping out on your own. God had been speaking to me for a while about starting my own team.
Yeah.
And just knowing the right time to do it. When I did announce that I was going to go out on my own, it wasn't, I would say, it was the right time, but it didn't seem like, with all the circumstances that were going on in my team and everything, it didn't seem like it was a very good timing. But it was the time that God was telling me to do it. So I did it. And he's blessed every step from there forward.
Yeah, because you really have to, there's a lot of trust and faith that you have to have. Because usually, people would be like, oh man, I made this decision and now all these things are happening. Does this mean I made a bad decision? And you really had to kind of see through that and see, the goal that you were going to, having the faith that, everything that you need is going to be provided for.
That's right.
That's
right.
It's hard. It's hard to make that leap of faith.
It's very hard. Like I said, I've been very blessed in my business. I do believe God family business, and that's how I've ran it this year, especially. And I feel like you have to do it in that order, or it doesn't work. And when I try to do it out of that order, I stumble.
Right.
So.
Right. No, I think having your priorities.
That was all. That's a good podcast. That was great.
That's so good.
Just summed that up really well. That was that's so impactful. That's awesome.
One thing we like to get into is just the uniqueness of you, Sharla, and your team. Whenever if you could describe your team and maybe like unique traits about your team, what are some different characteristics that you would say?
Yeah.
They are awesome. I need a lot more descriptive words than that, but they're very good with managing me. I tend to squirrel sometimes, and Marissa is very good about, Charlotte, have you done this? Charlotte, have you done that? You know, staying on me, making sure that I'm organized and just staying on task.
Yeah.
And we'll have those meetings. She gets set up in the morning, give me a call. Usually it's like right at 9 o'clock. We'll have our call in the morning, and then it's on to our day. And then we communicate throughout the day, obviously, as well. But it's getting that morning started. You know, let's get on the same page and get rolling. She's started out with me and helped me get the business up and running. And like you said, trying to not lose what I had with a team and keeping that going and keeping it strong, but then also starting a team and everything that comes with it, and marketing. And when we started growing to where we couldn't handle all the marketing, about June, July is when Emily came in to help. And day one, literally, I was like, hey, I have a problem with my website on this. Within 10 minutes, it was fixed. I mean, I was like, oh, thank you. It was
That's
blessing.
amazing.
So she's just amazing. They're hard workers. They pay attention to detail, which is very important. They're great communicators. So with clients, it's great to have communication.
Yeah.
And with me, we always say that if there's anything that you don't understand, or we don't want things to go to friction. So we always, you know, hey, there's this, if there was a problem at all, then you just want to make sure that you address it, and we get it out in the open and it's all clear, and we could move on so that it doesn't interfere with anything else. And thankfully we haven't had any of those big moments, but communication is key. So we just want to make sure that, you know, you just move on and do that. And they're just amazing.